Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday. Thank you so much for joining me for Rise and Shine this morning. And today I want to take some time to talk to you guys about my experience so far with pole dancing. So it's been a whole week now. I started Sunday last week, and where do I even begin? It's been such a beautiful journey of transformation spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and physically for me. And it's only been 1 week. It's only been 1 week, but I've always anything that I do, I go all the way. So I'm fully committed to going on this path, and it's just been such a beautiful transformation. And so much has happened in just one span of a week. Well, first of all, physically, I feel amazing. Anytime when we're doing physical exercise, anytime when we're moving our bodies, it's allowing energy to flow inside our bodies. There's blockages in our bodies that are reflections of certain psychological conditioning, certain trauma. So when we are moving our bodies, we are actually unlocking those blockages. And so like my body feels amazing to be doing so much physical exercise all week last week. Even though I was sore, I've got bruises everywhere, but it feels amazing. So physically, things are going well. And also, I realize how much I've been disconnected with certain parts of my body, right? Especially like my back, my waist, also like down there, like my booty, right? When I took the twerking class, like I realized how disconnected I have been with certain body parts, and it's a representation of like numbness or ways that my body has shut down as a result of like a protective mechanism, or because it didn't feel safe to open up, it didn't feel safe for me to tune in and connect to that, whatever reason. And we all have this. We all have certain traumas or certain conditioning, certain beliefs that were taught to us that eventually our body have decided that it's not safe to open up. It's not safe for us to fully feel certain areas of our body wants to feel, so we shut down, we go numb, and we don't eventually, like the more parts of our body shut down and go numb, we are not fully alive. We are not fully experiencing everything that life has to offer. So I was on an amazing class with one of my mentors yesterday, Layla Martin, and we learned about full body orgasm. Oh my gosh, I can't talk today. It was a class on full body orgasm, and it was so juicy. Like I learned so much about the connection between our bodies and spirituality and certain trauma. So basically, I mean, I'm still brand new to this, but what I learned from her really resonated with like the core of my being. And she said that people who are so driven in the personal development space, people who are looking to, seek spirituality, to raise their consciousness, to raise their vibration, sometimes that can be a subtle way of rejecting our human experience. It's almost like somewhere deep inside of us is saying like, we don't like where we're at right now, like this human experience, so we want to go to this spiritual dimension, this spiritual consciousness, so we are escaping our human experience, our humanity. And that really was like, wow, that's true. Like, why else do I want to meditate? Why else do I want to like tune in to, go inward, connect to God, connect with my higher self? It was actually a subtle way of me rejecting my human experience. Like that was an aha moment for me. And she basically, like, I mean, I'm still new to this, so I don't want to be the one to teach you guys this concept. But from what I understood, what I've learned is that my body is the missing link between the human experience and the spiritual realm, the spirituality, like the higher consciousness. Like how can you bridge the gap between the two where you're fully allowing like the spiritual side of you to be expressed in this human body, and enjoying the human experience 100% every single moment, the ups and downs, the good, bad, and the ugly. Like, how can you bridge the two instead of rejecting the human experience in the seeking of spirituality? So because I've been pole dancing last week, I felt like I have been, it's a path for me to so much more coming back home to my body, connecting to my body, and just like dropping into this now moment. I noticed this whole week, this past week, I've been so good at coming back to this present moment versus like in the past, because I was always in my head. I was not connected to my body. I was always thinking about the future, always thinking about, okay, I got this, and this to do on my to-do list, and then thinking about the future, never in the now moment. And I was always rejecting this now moment, this present moment. Like, I didn't want to feel what I was feeling. Whatever was coming out, my mind jumped into the future, thinking that, the grass on the other side is greener kind of mentality. But this past week, I just felt like I was so much in the present moment, and I was so good with accepting whatever was coming up. Like, it's a visceral, like, it's a body sensation. I don't know how to explain it, but like, I felt this acceptance in my belly that whatever was coming up, when fear comes up, when doubts come up, when uncertainties come up, I just felt like this sensation in my body that I could just welcome it with wide open arms, versus like jumping into my head, thinking about the future. Okay, how can I problem solve this? How can I, take action so that I can get rid of this sensation? But instead, I just felt like I was this space. I was like this container to hold this feeling that was coming up in my body, and just accept it. And it felt so good. Like, even in that moment, I felt like I was just lowering the resistance, and that's what created space for me to feel a better emotion. So that was happening. And then another thing that was happening was I started to, so in the past, I had this like sensation around my belly that I always, like, in the back of my mind, I was feeling like I'm fat. I got these belly flaps, like this rejection of this part of my body, like, even though literally this is just skin. I don't have fat on my belly, but like, it's this conditioning, societal conditioning, that tells me like, if I'm not skinny, I'm not beautiful, like this insanity idea. So what I noticed this past week, like, that sensation has been diminished. Like, I don't feel this rejection of my belly as much as I used to. And I also learned yesterday that apparently, like, the navel areas is a representation of our self-love. So like, if there's tension here, if there's numbness here, if there's certain like weird contraction feelings in your navel areas, then it's a representation, a reflection of how much you love yourself. So I was like, oh my gosh. So if I'm feeling like a loosening of this tension, then maybe it's also a representation of that. I'm coming back home to loving my body, loving every part of myself. And the amazing thing of that is also, because I'm so much more coming back home to accepting me for who I am, loving myself for who I am, loving my body, appreciating my body, I am starting to see that in other women. In the past, I had so much judgment, right? Like, and I know that was just a projection of my insecurities when I judge another woman, like, oh my gosh, why is she dressing like that? Like, why is she showing so much skin? Like, all of those insane judgment I had, but now I see a beautiful woman and I just appreciate her. Like, she's so gorgeous, she's sexy, like, I'm starting to see beauty in women in each, like, in their own unique shapes and form. There's not a set standard that a woman has to be a certain way, but like, I just appreciate a woman for exactly who she is. And that kind of sisterhood, that kind of uplifting, empowering way of like bringing each other up, it's so important. Because this is another thing that I learned yesterday with Layla, my mentor, my coach. She said that woman is so powerful. We get all these powerful, like our sexual energy, our creative energy, like all of that. It's power. That's our magnetic power. That's our radiance, our attraction. Like when we are tuned in, tapped in, turned on, that's when we are powerful, right? Like in the past, like I mean, I don't know too much about witches, and I don't want to bring that into a conversation right now. But essentially, like what witches are just they're so tuned in to that divine feminine essence within, like that wild, what people think on the outside who don't understand this concept, they think that they're doing magic, right? But what magic just means is we are understanding how the universal principles work, how the non-physical work, how the law of attraction works, so that we are playing with energy, we are being in alignment with energy. And in the past, how society has shut down these women, and the power is like they burn the witches, they kill the witches, they do all kinds of crazy stuff. And what Layla mentioned yesterday, my coach, she said that there's one way to shut down women and the power, which is by burning them, killing them, and doing all kinds of insane stuff, which I feel like it's probably still happening nowadays. I don't know too much about it, but there's another way that is a lot more powerful to shut down women and the power, and it's by creating this culture of self-hatred, of lack of self-love, of feeling like we're not good enough, of feeling like we're not worthy, feeling like, we're constantly being in this conversation of I'm not beautiful, I'm not good enough, I'm not worth it, like my body is ugly. Like that is a psychological conditioning systematically disempowering us as women. And they're smart in doing that. Right? It's so subtle. And when we are in this energy of hating ourselves, when we are in this conversation of not loving ourselves, not appreciating who we are, not embracing our body, we end up doing that to other women as well. We end up doing that to other women as well, right? That's why we have these gossip going on. That's why we talk about other women, we judge other women, and we bring each other down because systematically we've been conditioned to do so. Right? But that's actually what's that's shutting us down and our powers. When woman is not embracing who we are, when we're not fully knowing how friggin' badass and beautiful and gorgeous and powerful that we are, we project that insecurities onto other women and we bring them down with us. And that's not the way to go, right? We women gotta team up and bring each other up. Appreciate other women for exactly who they are. Love their curves, love their body, like whatever size and shapes that they are. We get to love them up and let them know how freaking appreciated they are, but that always have to come from within first. Like if I didn't have this loving connection with myself, if I didn't know how to appreciate myself, if I didn't know how to appreciate my body exactly the way it is, then I don't know how to do that for other women. I don't know how. So it's your responsibility, any woman listening right now, it's your responsibility to do this work. And whatever it is that works for you, go do it. For me, it's pole dancing, right? And this is another exciting thing that I'm witnessing. Every time I get on the pole, every time I do a dance, every time I film myself and post it on social media, I feel like I am dancing away, releasing away shame, guilt, and judgment in my body that I'm holding on to around sexuality, around sensuality, around embracing our sexiness. Like every time I take that step forward, like I feel like a piece of this shame and the guilt and the judgment, it's literally like shedding away from my body. And the beautiful thing is how many other women are commenting on my posts, saying how inspired they are, how empowered they are. They also want to go try pole dancing. Like, oh my gosh, go do it, ladies. Like if you're in Southern California, if you're feeling called to do it, go take a pole dancing class. Like you get to embrace your sexy, you get to embrace your body. Like it is your body. You get to do whatever you want to do with it. It's not for men. It's not for anyone watching. You get to do it for yourself. like, that feeling, that sensation of like, oh my goodness, I felt so sexy and it feels so good. Like, I'm doing this for me and I'm not doing this for anyone else. And if other people watches it and they get inspired, then beautiful, that's good. And woman, you guys get to do this for yourself. So if you feel called to do it, like, just go look up the classes. Like, I'm so grateful now, like, studios are opening back up in Southern California. So like there are classes that you can take. And another thing that I'm also starting to see too, like, there is such a huge gap in our society for men to learn how to honor and respect women. But again, this comes back down to the women themselves, right? When we don't have, yeah, Claire, belly dancing, and you can totally take that in like a live, like a virtual class. I'm sure there are virtual classes that teach you how to do belly dancing, and you can really bring out that sensual, sexy side of you. But I was saying there's a huge gap where men do not know how to honor and respect women. But again, this comes back down to us women. Do you honor and respect yourself? Right? If we don't know how to do that, we don't know how to emanate this energy, this presence that demand respect, that demand being honored and appreciated and cherished, right? So it all starts with us first, and we get to really be this powerful essence, this powerful presence where when someone is interacting with us, they will just automatically feel so drawn to respect us, to honor us, to appreciate us, and not to see us as just like a meat suit, right? So yeah, a lot of amazing things have been happening just in 1 week. 1 week, guys, and I'm going all the way. This week I'm taking like 8 pole dancing classes, and I'm so excited. It feels so good to be doing something so physical, and like it feels so good. Like, pole dancing requires every part of my muscle, just like ballet. I miss ballet so much, but this time, it's just so fun to bring out this sexy side of me. So thank you everyone for tuning in today. Like, if anything is resonating with you, please let me know in the comments below. And thank you so much, as usual, for being a part of my journey. I'm just so grateful that I get to share every parts of it with you guys, and I'm fully transparent, fully authentic with every one of you. I share everything with you guys, and I think it's exciting that I'm more leaning into this path now. So next time I might share with you guys some morning pleasure practices that I engage in to start off my day. So stay tuned and have an amazing day, guys. Bye.